sorts of positions, given their natural feet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Adrian napped it really in the pre-match show. It's really down to these two guys to up their games a little bit. You know, they could be fighting for a position in the side at the weekend. Two players that can be highly influential. You know, Pepe getting a goal in the game against Dundalk, but he had lots of opportunities to impress. You know, he had lots of crosses, and he just fouled at the final hurdle. Yeah, yes, he got the goal. It was a great strike, but Willian comes into the side today. You know, not under pressure, putting him under pressure, but I think it's a little test from the manager to say, you know, put a performance in tonight, and we'll see who gets in the side at the weekend. But Arsenal settling into that five as well at the back with Granit Xhaka in there, and Adrian said it as well. They're sort of changing to sort of a two defender side when they attack, which is always good. So they're changing their shape and looking good at the moment.
Here's Joe Willock swinging a dangerous-looking ball in. And it was Eddie Nketiah who was breaking into the box. He timed his run to perfection there, the young England striker. There's a good bit of build-up play between Nicola Pepe and Ainsley Maitland-Niles to pick out Joe Willock, and his in-swinging ball from the right-hand side just couldn't be met by Eddie Nketiah, who was sliding in the 6-yard box. Yeah,
the youngsters working well together, Nketiah, Willock and Maitland-Niles. And I said that in the Dundalk game, that, you know, just together, the 4 or 5 young players that we've had in these Europa sides have really played well when they're all on the pitch at the same time. There's a good understanding between them.
Joe Willock and Eddie Nketiah, of course, both on target in that Dundalk game. It's the first time that Eddie Nketiah struck in Europe, actually, for Arsenal's senior side. Joe Willock's found the net a bit more regularly in this competition, certainly at this stage of the competition. It'll be interesting to see whether he can be the man that injects that drive into the midfield that Arsenal are so desperately craving of late. MOLDE are just slowing down the game a bit. Gregerson playing it along his back line, about 25 yards into their own half, and now they can go all the way back to their goalkeeper, the Swede, Linde, who knocks it long towards the halfway line. Granit Xhaka had challenged, but he loses out, and now it's Bolly who can carry forward, but Dani Ceballos has recovered well there to tackle, and now he can release Pepe on the right-hand side. Nketiah's made the overlapping run. It's Nketiah in the box, and it's just crept wide. In fact, it was Linde, the goalkeeper, who managed to get a hand on it, and the ball looked to be trickling just wide of that far post before Bjorn Back made sure and put it behind for a corner to Arsenal. But really, really encouraging start from the Gunners.
Yeah, it was good and pacey attack, wasn't it? It was nice to see Dani Ceballos winning the ball, edge of the D inside his own half, and straight away head up, forward pass into Nicola Pepe, right-hand side, who had his head up, forward pass into Eddie Nketiah, unlucky.
So Willian, one hand up as he delivers the ball in, and it's headed clear at the near post. Mikel Arteta will be quite pleased with what he's seen from his side coming forward in those wide areas so far. Already seen 2 dangerous looking attacks from the Gunners. Nicola Pepe at the heart of each of them. Sead Kolasinac with a throw in on the left hand side, about level with the edge of the MOLDE area. 3 Arsenal players around him, 5 players in blue MOLDE shirts crowding him out. There is a bit of space here for Dani Ceballos, edge of the centre circle. He's got Ainsley Maitland-Niles making an overlapping run on the right-hand side. Maitland-Niles does get the ball now from Joe Willock. He gets it out of his stride, but is unable to combine with Nicola Pepe. The ball's out for a throw-in on the right. It's Hussein who was tracking back, and now Maitland-Niles can get the ball back in play really quickly to find Squadron Mustafi. Now with Dani Ceballos again, who takes his customary 3 or 4 touches just to try and get Arsenal a bit further upfield. Xhaka back to Ceballos, now inviting Squadron Mustafi to get a bit further forward, and now Nicola Pepe can shift the ball onto his left foot as he comes inside from the right-hand side. Just maybe a bit too guilty of trying to force a pass there, and MOLDE did have players back, and now it comes to Ikram on the left-hand side of the pitch, just breaking into Arsenal's half now, as Bolly looked to find the overlapping run of Umwojino. Couldn't quite make out to him. Really nice dummy from Dani Ceballos to bring Joe Willock into play, and now Arsenal have got a player over if they can find him. It's Sead Kolasinac, who again has come forward on the left-hand side, holding off the challenge of Ellingson. 20 yards or so into the Molde half, and Granit Xhaka looked for the diagonal. Nicola Pepe it was who had made the run on the right-hand side. It's just over hit in the end from the captain on the night, Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, a little bit of not great execution on the final ball from Xhaka, but it was the right pass to try and pick out, and Arsenal worked the ball really well over there. I've got to say at the moment, Max, Dani Ceballos is, you mentioned his customary 3 or 4 touches. He hasn't really done, he's only done that a couple of times. But when he moves it in 1 or 2, honestly, he's got the vision and awareness. He sees the pass. When he does it, he just opens up not only the opposition, but the way we play. People run off of that pass really well. And him and Joe Willock at the moment doing a real good job. One's, as soon as the ball's turned over and won by Arsenal, and we got possession, off Joe Willock goes, and Dani Ceballos takes that holding, controlling role. Really well balanced in there at the moment.
Dani Ceballos, of course, shot to prominence for Spain in their under-21 Euro campaign. He's in a free-flowing Spanish side. He's so good at quick 1- and 2-touch passing. It's Arsenal again who lose out possession, and now Winwood Jinfo can break forward. It's Bolly now joining on the left-hand side. Joe Willock's tracked back well. It's the Arsenal youngster who lost possession, but he's done well to make sure he's put the pressure on, and now Arsenal are back in control of the ball with Mustafi. Here's Maitland-Niles, an outside of the ball pass to find Nketiah, who's brought Nicola Pepe into play as well. Molde doing everything they can to smother Pepe as soon as he gets the ball. They don't want him to have any time to try and get the ball out of his feet and break forward. This time they're just tackling out, making sure that it's out of play for a throw-in, which Maitland-Niles will take. Now Mustafi can play it along the back line to David Luiz. And there's that diagonal that we're so used to seeing from Luiz in towards Pepe, who challenged for the header. He did win it, but Willian couldn't get the second ball. For Arsenal, Ainsley Maitland-Niles was alert and he's able to keep it in on the near side. Here's David Luiz halfway line again to Granit Xhaka, playing that deeper role as Adrian mentioned. It does actually, David, look as though, as Adrian predicted, it is 3 at the back, isn't it? But then when Arsenal are in possession, he can come out a bit more. He joins the attack, links play up a bit more on the left-hand side. But for now, it's on the right with Nicola Pepe just inside the box. He tried to use his quick feet there to his advantage, but he's robbed of possession by Hogan. Now set himself before finding Hussein, and it's just a hopeful lobbed ball forward from the Molde midfielder, and Arsenal again get themselves on the ball. So 10 minutes gone here, still goalless at Emirates Stadium, but Arsenal seeing plenty of possession, David. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you got it dead right. We can see Granit Xhaka now in possession, left-hand side, halfway into the opposition's half. That's certainly not a centre defender's role. So when Arsenal are in a possession, in an offensive position, Xhaka moves in, Kolasinac moves on, and that allows Pepe to go and link up with Eddie Nketiah. So definitely a fluid team structure. It was a decent looking ball in from the left-hand side from Willian, a bit too close to the goalkeeper though. Linda was able to collect it fairly routinely. He is a massive goalkeeper, it must be said, 6'5" tall. So they do just need to be a little more precise when they're whipping balls into the box, especially when it's Eddie Nketiah there who's challenging. Just get a quick glimpse there of Molde head coach Erling Moe. He has been in contact with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was actually asked of Mikel Arteta ahead of this game whether he spoke to Solskjaer about MOLDE after beating Manchester United at Old Trafford on Sunday, to which Arteta replied, well, that's not exactly how it works. That's not what we do. We wouldn't ask an opposing manager for his tactical insight on another team. And it appears that Erling Moe has taken the opposite approach to that, and He's tried to find out as much as he can from Solskjaer about this Arsenal side. Mo's actually been part of the coaching staff at MOLDE since 2005, with the exception of taking a third-tier role at Christiansen for the second half of the 2011 season. Because of that, he's worked very closely with Solskjaer in the past. His first stint as the caretaker boss came when Solskjaer left. And then when he returned, he was appointed Solskjaer's assistant, and then he was made caretaker in 2018 when Solskjaer took over at United. And then, of course, when that was made permanent, as was Erling Mo's position here at MOLDE. Very close relationship between those two. It'd be interesting to see whether any of that tactical insight that Solskjaer could have given Erling Mo about Arsenal tonight will pay dividends. Now, though, it's been all Arsenal as Nicola Pepe gets onto that right foot that we saw whip one into the top corner against Dundalk last week, but this time no end product, and it just sails away behind the goal for a goal kick.
Yeah, unfortunately, Max, that's what he needs to tidy up. He has lots of opportunities to put those balls in, and it is on his swinger, if you like, but that swinger put one in the top corner against Dundalk, so it can do the job. Just need to be a bit cuter and have a better finish in that final third. But good to see Maitland-Niles straight on the ball there, trying to make things happen on the right hand side, because Arsenal have just gone into a little flat period the last 2 or 3 minutes. MOLDE well in the game with nearly 50-50 possession.
Well, they may be caught on the counter here as MOLDE come forward. It's Ellingson on the overlap, who's looked to pull one back to the penalty spot. Danny Ceballos it was who had read the danger. He tracked back, just made sure that he got a vital interception there. Good play on the right-hand side, though, between Ellingson and Wingo.
Yeah, good play by MOLDE. They get players supporting very quick. Had 5 players on the attack in that last advance for them, but Ceballos in the right position to tidy up.
Should mention that tonight's officials are a mixture of Turkey and Bulgaria. The referee, Halil Umat Mele, this is his 3rd season as a Europa League referee. The 33-year-old has officiated just 1 game in the competition this season, and he showed 5 yellow cards between CSKA Sofia and Cluj. So he's not afraid to be reactive in his thinking. Just holding up play for a second while one of his assistants just gets sorted out. I think maybe his earpiece has come out. There's a breakdown in communication between the officials. Now the linesman's picked up his flag, back in position. He's got the nod from his colleagues, and we're back underway with a bang from the fireworks in the background. No fans, of course, in Emirates Stadium tonight. There is a bit of atmosphere created from Guy Fawkes Night in the background. Really sure how off-putting that's going to be for the players as David Luiz looks to clip one over the top into the channel for Pepe to chase. All sort of skidded off the turf, but right into the hands of Linda. He throws a very quick ball out to Hogan, who brings it down. He's able to run into Arsenal's half, but Joe Willock, that's some good tracking from him. Unfortunately for Arsenal, though, the referee has deemed that one to be a foul. Mikel Arteta just questioning that decision in a bit of disbelief.
Yeah, Calgan running down the left-hand side, advancing just past the halfway line. And Joe, as you rightly say, does really well. And I think the referee's given it for maybe the tackle from behind, although both players are on their feet. But I think Joe was more from the side and won that fairly. It is an opportunity for MOLDE to put this ball with Ikram on it into the box.
Well, Magnus Wolff Ikram made his name in Manchester United's academy as a bit of a dead ball specialist. He's found the net from this these kind of set pieces several occasions in his MOLDE career. So the ball whipped in, and Leno was right underneath it. He came out a long way, the German goalkeeper, to punch it clear. Just getting a replay off that opportunity there as Leno came out and just got 2 fists to it to make sure it was out of the box. Looked as though David Luiz had lost his man for a second, but Leno was there to cover.
Yeah, and he was being challenged big time by Gregerson, wasn't he? I think Gregerson jumped right into him, and Leno was very strong, good punch, and had a little smile on his face after, almost as if to say, you'll have to do better than that. But dealt with it well. Another problem as well with the referee's assistant again, and his IT and his equipment.
I do just wonder, David, and maybe it's a tough question for you, as of course you weren't a goalkeeper, but how much belief do you reckon that has given Bernd Leno, that the fact that Mikel Arteta said, look, you're my number one, Martinez has gone this summer and you are playing every game for us now. I know Runarsson played the last game here, but it must be a great confidence boost to know that you are your manager's first choice.
Yeah, and I think with a goalkeeper, it's super important because it's an isolated role. Okay, you're on the pitch with everybody else and you're sort of the extra defender, but a lot of the time you do spend focusing on your own game. You're not involved with team play and stuff like that. So confidence is important. Yes, it will definitely give him a heads up. I don't think he was lacking in confidence, Max, and I think once Alex Runarsson gets to the right level, he will be in the position that Leno was when he was waiting for the main spot. So I think time will push it into that situation, but definitely for the moment, he's a goalkeeper who's in really good form for us, and especially for Arsenal, that's perfect.
Here's Maitland-Niles drifting infield from his right fullback position. And he's given a bit of space here to Mustafi for him to make a run into the right channel himself. Instead he turns back, finds Maitland-Niles again. Spreads it to the left-hand side where you've got the likes of Granit Xhaka, Dani Ceballos and Sead Kolasinac all waiting, but instead it's back to Shkodran Mustafi, right-hand side. Looked to thread one through to Nicola Pepe, who had made a clever run. Fortunately, the execution on the pass wasn't quite up to scratch. But Arsenal do recover possession with Leno. Now with David Luiz, right side of the Arsenal penalty area. Clips one long for Nketiah and for Pepe to chase. And we can really see the pace of Pepe here as he puts Gregerson under pressure. And he's himself has given away possession to Joe Willock. About 20 yards from goal. Willock had a few options, but just held onto the ball a bit too long. Now MOLDE can come forward again on the halfway line. With Wingo, very appropriately named winger turned fullback in the United States. But he loses out, and now it's David Luiz again to find Joe Willock, who just takes a couple of touches, has a look around before finding Nicola Pepe. A few step overs from him to try and lose his man, but Hussein wasn't going anywhere, so it's back to Maitland-Niles now on the right hand side. Look for the overlap from Joe Willock. It's a good run into the box from the ALN graduate. Did really well to get on the end of that pass from Maitland-Niles. There was a second where I thought that he'd overhit it because he'd exerted so much energy. The angle was always going against him. It's a routine stop for Linda. Opportunity now for MOLDE to get themselves back on the ball with Bolly. Now Ikram towards Nez. Ikram will sit deep on the halfway line like this. He was always looking to pull the strings, get on the ball as much as he can. He is capable of spraying a pass. There haven't been too many options for him, not too many runners forward so far, as they do try a lofted pass in towards the on-rushing Jinfo, leading the line for MOLDE tonight. Just runs all the way through to Bernd Leno. Weighs up his options before rolling out to Shkodran Mustafi. He's taken a bit of a risk with that back pass, especially under pressure from Ellingson. David Luiz dealt with it well. Bernd Leno can just clear his lines now. You can hear him screaming at his defenders, get out. We're far too deep here, and it's inviting pressure from MOLDE, who take a quick and early strike, and they found the lead, and it's Ellingson who's hurled one into the corner from about 25 yards out with his left foot. And Arsenal have themselves to blame there. We did mention, David, you could hear Leno say, get out, we're far too deep. And they invited the pressure. And Ellingson had all the time in the world to just pick his spot And Kerr one home.
Yeah, but you've got to say, I mean, Leno's telling all the players to get out, but it is his pass down the middle of the pitch. He's tried to clip it into Nketiah, who's never going to challenge for balls with Gregerson in the air like that. It's easy for the Molde defender to win it back. Goes to the feet of Ellingson, and he's in space. You've got to say, it's an absolutely fantastic left foot finish. Curls it in on Bert Leno's right-hand side. But Arsenal just a little bit slapdash from the start of that move when, as you said yourself, Mustafi taking a few chances, playing that ball back to David Luiz, goes from David Luiz to Leno, all very, relaxed and easy, and Leno with no option, gives the ball away and Arsenal are punished.
Well, Leno thumping the ground as that ball hit the back of the net. I do just wonder, David, I mean, you touched on it there, it's a concentration thing more than anything, isn't it? Yeah,
I think they allowed themselves to relax, get into way too deep a position, forced into unnecessary passes, and Leno is then forced to play one down the middle. In my opinion, he should have pinged it out into the space wide. But, that's why he's banging the ground.
Was it a chance there for Arsenal to get themselves an opportunity? Several players had committed to making their runs into the box, but Nicola Pepe's ball in the end isn't good enough, high and wide, and goes out for a goal kick. Incidentally, the goal scorer, Martin Ellingson, signed a new contract this time last year. He actually made his UEFA debut just before signing that new contract. He never scored in this competition. There we go. That is exactly what he can do. The quality that he's got in that left boot. It's a real wake-up call here for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal side. I know the manager said in this pre-match press conference that this is the toughest team to face in the group. These are the players that are going to be battling it out with Arsenal for the top spot in Group B. I don't think he would have anticipated going a goal behind at home inside 25 minutes. A real test of Arsenal's resolve now and how they can bounce back. Molde now playing with a lot more confidence. There's some one-touch football along the back line to find Hussein, and now all the way back to the goalkeeper, Linda. He's got no Arsenal players anywhere near him, so Molde can just take a bit of a breather here. They continue to play passes around the edge of their own area. Good spell of possession for the Norwegian side, but they do just pass the ball out of play through Hussein. And now Arsenal can get themselves back on it. 25 minutes gone, Arsenal a goal down. We're going to hear Adrian Clark's thoughts on the game so far. Adrian, what have you made of proceedings?
Well, not a lot's happened from an Arsenal perspective, not enough. I think Dani Ceballos has probably been the pick of the bunch from Arsenal's point of view, but it was a really bad goal, wasn't it, to give away. I do think that they spread out wide and deep from the goal kick, and there was just no reaction while the ball was in the air. The centre-halves stayed deep. The central midfielders didn't squeeze up. It was a huge, great hole for Molde to get hold of the ball from the knockdown, and that's where the problem lied. Kolasinac was out on the wing. David Luiz was practically on his own 6-yard box. I think it was sloppy. I think it's a really sloppy goal to concede. And I think Bernd Leno would be disappointed to have been beaten from that kind of range as well. So, yeah, look, it's been a bit flat. We have to be honest here from Arsenal. They need to raise their games and certainly create better opportunities. Only really that one chance where Pepe slipped and Nketiah in. That was good play. But that's it as far as quality forward play so far in this first half.
Thanks, Adrian. Just a reminder that if you're listening now, you can stay tuned. You get all of the analysis at half-time from Adrian Clark and, of course, Nick Bright as well. We'll be reading out a few tweets, answering a few questions, as we always do on the Breakdown Live. Just taking another look at that goal there that Ellingson scored. I'm not sure he would have connected with a ball any better than that in his career. It's a brilliant finish. As Adrian said, Leno will be disappointed to have conceded from there, but he's put it right into the corner, Ellingson. It's a great strike. Here's Granit Xhaka stepping forward into midfield. Now with Skodran Mustafi switching play. You could see Kolasinac was in acres of space on the left-hand side, but his ball's not got enough on it. Now, MOLDE can play the ball forward on the right channel. It was Wingo again who was looking for Ellingson. Those two have combined quite well so far on the MOLDE right-hand side. Wingo going all the way back to his goalkeeper, Linda. He's got the confidence to just take a touch and then ping one out to the left-hand side to his full-back. MOLDE still in possession here. Arsenal are hustling and harrying, but they can't get the ball off the team in blue at the moment. Skodran Mustafi might be given an opportunity to win a throw in here, just in front of Mikel Arteta, and he leaves it for Ainsley Maitland-Niles to take. No one coming short though, David. Just seeing a bit more of a lack of urgency from Arsenal creeping in. I mean, earlier on in the game, first 5-10 minutes maybe, Arsenal were racing for the ball when it went out of play, but now it's gone a bit more standstill, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what happened just before the goal. You know, it went flat. It became a bit more pedestrianised from Arsenal's point of view, and since the goal, MOLDE have just got more confident, and they're playing very expansive and wide, and that's giving Arsenal a problem. Arsenal are not sure whether they really want to go in and close them down because they've been quite tidy on the ball. Their confidence is high, and add to the fact that Arsenal are now 1-0 down, proving difficult. But on the attack here,
it was Willian who was leading the chase there, looking to get in behind the very high MOLDE back line. Have enough pace in the end. MOLDE recover. Clear it all the way to Arsenal on the halfway line. It's really clever outside of the boot pass from Dani Ceballos to find Willian. Just when you thought someone with the experience of Willian would be able to find the final pass there. His cross is blocked at the near post. Eddie Nketiah was one of the men who had made the run into the box, looking to get on the end of the cross. Wasn't able to find that cross.
Dani Ceballos again, isn't it? Picking it up in the midfield, turning early on it, playing it first time outside of his right foot, and then, yeah, I'd expect a little bit better from Willian. Picks the ball up inside the box, possible one-on-one situation. Could have even gone for the cross, Max. You know, should he have been more selfish?
Well, Arsenal have gone short from the resulting corner. It was Pepe who swung one in. Joe Willock climbing high, couldn't direct his header on target. Cleared all the way to the halfway line. MOLDE didn't commit any players forward. They're pretty much happy to stay all 11 players inside their own half at the moment and let Arsenal attack them. They're set up to 4. Willian, left-hand side of the box, looks to cut inside. Finds Nicola Pepe waiting on the right-hand side. Now here's Granit Xhaka bursting forward once more. The tough ball for Pepe to bring down, but he's managed to find Xhaka again. Arsenal still in possession as the fireworks continue to go off. We saw just then Dani Ceballos looking to force things again, David, but just a bit too much on the pass that time for Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, but it's a good ball. He's got to play it at that pace, and that's the pace that Arsenal need to be working at, and that's the problem here. It's all just been a bit too lackadaisical, and they're finding it hard to get out of it. Ceballos definitely a key man at the moment. When he gets on it and he plays those sharp passes, I'm not sure whether the other players are on his wavelength at the moment, and we're just seeing now Alex Lacazette having a little warm-up. I wonder whether that's just a little bit of a threat from the manager saying, you know, come on, step your game up a little bit. We've got players on the bench that really want to be out there and working hard. But in saying that, Max, you've got to give credit to the way MOLDE are playing with their confidence levels and how they're stretching Arsenal.
Yeah, and how compact they're defending as well. I know Adrian touched on it in the pre-match build-up. Said about the two centre-backs, I don't think that they've put a foot wrong so far. I think that they know their limitations and they know what they can do on the ball. They've just played it safe, I think, so far, and for that, it's working for them. Here's Granit Xhaka just inside the MOLDE half to David Luiz, and now Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who's peeled off from the right touchline to make an option, and now Nicola Pepe is isolated 1-on-1 against Bolly. Ivorian forward, who probably doesn't want to spend most of tonight defending, but unfortunately he's going to have to, as Pepe receives the ball from Mustafi again. Just in field from the right side corner flag. He loses possession and places the ball out of play for a throw-in. 31 minutes gone here in the capital. Arsenal goal down. It was Ellingson who capitalised on pretty indecisive defensive performance from Arsenal. Sort of got caught in two minds as to whether to push up or not. Ellingson was awarded with the space and the time to pick out the bottom corner and leave Bernd Leno with no chance. Just under 15 minutes for Arsenal to try and find a way back into this game before half-time, and Joe Willock might be the key to doing that. Managed to pick up a loose ball that had bounced off Hussein. Fell rather favourably for Arsenal's young midfielder. When he got into the box, there are enough Molde players there to recover, put the ball out of play for a corner.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? Initially, Pepe nutmegs Haugen, doesn't get the challenge, but doesn't get the free kick. But Joe Willock's still playing on. He's playing to the whistle, picks the ball up, and it's unlucky when he gets in the box, just runs away from him. But that's where Arsenal have fouled for me in this first half. When we look at the end product again, it's just not there. One shot on target. It's not really good enough from this Arsenal side.
Willian it is to deliver the corner, out swinging from the right-hand side in front of the clock end. Sails all the way through. Mustafi was one of the players that was in there challenging. Get a strong enough connection on it. And now it's Bernd Leno and Dani Ceballos sweeping up. Arsenal managed to win a throw-in on the halfway line, left side of the pitch. Mikel Arteta, as ever, stood in his technical area, full of animation. Chatting with his assistant coaches, wondering what his plans are for half-time. As David said, there's plenty of firepower on the bench should he need it. The likes of Alex Lacazette, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Bukayo Saka as well. And now Molde have really grown into this game and are playing with a great deal more confidence than Arsenal.
Yeah, I think Arteta will be disappointed with end product from some of his players. I'm looking at the passing accuracy in the opponent's half for some players who really need to be a bit higher. 80% isn't good enough when you're Arsenal playing Molde, and players like Pepe and Willian, I think they really need to sort of just tidy up little bits of their game. You just see him Maitland-Niles battle for it again, which he will do, and he's worked hard. But I think on the whole, this team is needing a lift at the moment, and I wonder whether there will be changes at half-time, because Arteta's clearly not seeing what he wants to on the pitch at the moment.
Arsenal build from the back again. So Leno sprays a pass out to the left-hand side this time. Lazanac nods it into Pepe's path. Pepe and Willian have incidentally switched positions. Joe Willock's come out to the right-hand side as well. Now Maitland-Niles can join the attack on the right as he looked to thread it through to Willian. Willock's hooked one in towards the penalty spot. Eddie Nketiah was the man who was underneath it, but he couldn't get near it because Gregerson was so reactive to the ball coming in. Tall centre-back just able to head that one clear, but it's back with Willian on the right-hand side. Drops the shoulder and gets round Bolly. Swings in a dangerous-looking cross along the ground. Nketiah racing towards the near post to meet it, and back now with Willian, who's lofted that one over Linda and all the way out to the left-hand side. Wingo will recover possession, but then he duly loses it to Nicola Pepe, and now Nketiah looking for the return pass to Pepe, but again it's cut out in the box. Molde are offered another chance to go forward with Ikram, who instead turns his head, plays a side of the boot pass back to his right back, Wingo. Now Molde just take a few more touches in the middle of the park before spraying it up towards Jinfo. We've not seen too much of in this game. He was the key danger man that Adrian picked out before the game. To be honest, he's not had to do a lot. Damage had been done by Ellingson already. So for now, I think Molde are just happy to shut up shop.
I think you're right,
David, they do still look quite dangerous when they come forward.
Yeah, they do. So I don't underestimate them. And Juanfro and Bolly are working really hard to put the Arsenal defence under pressure. And so, you know, you can't discount them. But it's in the middle of the park. Arsenal need to win this game, turn over possession really quickly, get the ball forward. And then we just need the end product to be a bit tidier.
So another corner from the right-hand side. Willian positions the ball and then lifts a right arm, full swinging it in towards Granit Xhaka. Actually, Mustafi, who was stooping in the 6-yard box, couldn't get any direction on that header. It's rolled harmlessly wide.
It's a corner we've seen quite regularly from Arsenal, haven't we? That really sharp run into the near post from Mustafi. It's a decent delivery from Willian, just couldn't direct it on target.
Just taking another look at the opportunity that Arsenal had a second ago. Willian seeing a lot more of the ball on the right-hand side ever since he switched with Pepe. It is more of the natural side for Willian. It's where he played the bulk of his football for Chelsea. He's leading campaigner in this competition, actually, Willian. 26 Europa League appearances, 4 goals, 10 assists in that time. That's for Shakhtar Donetsk and Chelsea. He actually scored 3 goals in the competition as Chelsea reached the final in 2019. Before he played the final 19 minutes against Arsenal in that final in Baku. He has got lots of experience at this level, Willian. Just starting to see him get himself into the game a bit more. Go through the gears. About 7 minutes left of this first half, plus any injury time, as Arsenal take another risk. This time Maitland-Niles playing it across his own area. And Ellingson was there again, looking to profit. David Luiz about managed to get there ahead of him and hoof the ball towards the halfway line, and now it's back under Molde's control with their goalkeeper Linda, who goes to one of his centre-backs, Bjornbach. Now Hussein get on the ball. Arsenal are pressing at the moment, David, but there are still players open for Molde. It doesn't seem like Arsenal are committed to this press as a team quite in the way that they were against Manchester United.
Yeah, well, Molde are being clever because what they're doing is they're keeping their width and they're not dropping off too early. Whereas Arsenal at the moment, as we saw a couple of times in the last 2 or 3 minutes, you've got 3 or 4 defenders who are all dropped off deeper than the 6-yard box all at the same time. Whereas Molde will only have 1 dropped off. The 2 others will be wide and they will drop in position when they need to, not that early. So you can't go and press. Whereas with Arsenal doing that, dropping all off, Molde are able to go in and cause problems for Arsenal.
Another opportunity for Molde as Ikram comes forward and finds Haugen. But Mustafi read the danger and was able to clear out for a throw-in on this left-hand side. So it's now with Hussein in field to Osnes. Not seen too much of him in midfield. Ollie looked to have worked his way past Arsenal's defenders via a series of lucky deflections. In the end, it was Mustafi who just lumped that one as far as he can, just to clear his lines. The ball's gone out on the halfway line. It will be a Molde throw-in just in front of where Mikel Arteta stood. So Arsenal did start this half very positively. So all of the wind was sucked right out of them as soon as Molde got that opening goal. Now the Gunners have it all to do. Final few moments of this first half. And then obviously in the second 45. There's Maitland-Niles drifting in field as he so often does from this right-back position. To find Willian, who's been brought down. The referee's telling him to get up on this near side. Haugen, who looked to have brought him down. Not enough in it for the Turkish officials. Take another look at that, David.
Yeah, we're just going to see it again. It's a good first touch by Willian, but as he goes past Haugen, I think he's trying to sell the referee the foul, really. He kind of runs into him. But you mentioned the press and, you know, and how well it worked against United, Max. And for me, there's one key element why it's not working, and it's Gabriel. Gabriel just pushed the team up. He closed down that 20 yards of space that United could play in, and their forwards could pick the ball up and control it. And that's what we've not had tonight. So it's been a lot easier for Molde to contain Arsenal. And we just need to squeeze right up and push into them and force them back.
It's interesting, isn't it, just how much of an impact one player can have since his arrival, especially on the attacking side of the game as well. Here's Nicola Pepe taking a touch on his left side to find a ball into the middle, and it was Eddie Nketiah who was inside the 6-yard box. The linesman's got his flag up on the near side. Nketiah was offside. At least that's what the linesman's saying. We're getting another look at it here. It was good build-up play, actually. Granit Xhaka adding a bit more urgency into the attack, and Joe Willock it was who strayed offside. And Nketiah passed the ball into the net at the end. There is just a reminder here that there aren't any video assistant referees at this stage of the competition. They come into the knockout stage because, David, if VAR did exist at this stage, then they would have given that goal.
Oh, absolutely. He's half a yard on, and he made the point straight away that it wasn't him. It was Joe Willock who had already entered into an offside position. Eddie coming from behind him, but you know, there's calls for it and there's calls against it, isn't there? And that was a prime one when you do need it. But Arsenal just got to get on with it. Decent move, and maybe take a little bit of confidence from it, because they'll know that was a goal at half time, so it might spur them on. But certainly it's a shame.
Wingo looking to get in behind Pepe, who's done well to track his man and just trap the ball as it looked to be going behind for a goal kick. Now Arsenal back in possession, taking another risky ball. This time it's Granit Xhaka all the way across his own area. It looks as though he was playing across actually. Joe Willock has now lost possession. Arsenal just really overplaying it inside their own area, as Bern Leno this time forced into a low stop by Jinfo. Arsenal again really lackadaisical in possession. And now we're just taking another look at the goal that should have been from an Arsenal point of view. Joe Willock was a good yard or so offside when Pepe's delivery came in, but Eddie Nketiah had timed his run to perfection. When he slid in and got the ball into the net, the linesman's flag went up immediately. And it's a case of mistaken identity, unfortunately, for Arsenal. Meanwhile, in defence, with just 10 seconds to go before we find out injury time, there is a corner which Molde will take. Granit Xhaka's the man underneath it, who clears it towards the edge of the box. Wingo looked to volley it back in towards the area, but now Arsenal can break clear, and it's a 2-on-2 situation here. If Granit Xhaka can find Eddie Nketiah, who's raced all the way into the box to pick out Joe Willock, and the ball has somehow found the back of the net. It looks like it's going to go down as an own goal, but what a counter-attack that is from Arsenal, from one end of the pitch to the other in a matter of seconds, starting with Granit Xhaka and ending with Joe Willock and Eddie Nketiah managing to force that one into the net.
Yeah, it was a swift break, wasn't it, Willian? And he finds Granit Xhaka in the centre of the pitch on his own, almost 1v1, 10 yards in the opponent's half, but he ain't going to run past anyone. He picks out a great ball just to his right-hand side. Joe Willock's making a fantastic run, and it's just pressure on the defender and the goalkeeper, who are all combining on the edge of the 6-yard box. And the ball trundles in over the line. No, it's deserved. Just on the fact that Arsenal should have had that goal in the last minute. But I think Molde will be a bit disappointed getting caught after being so well organised. But great for Joe Willock. It shows great determination at the end there.
Well, it will go down as an own goal for Hogan, who actually started for Viking in the 2016 pre-season friendly in Stavanger. And Arsenal won 8-0 on that day. But it's been a much tougher first half here tonight. MOLDE did take a shock lead here at Emirates Stadium. And Ellingson capitalised on a real lack of decisiveness at the back from Arsenal to curl one past Bernd Leno into the bottom corner. It was a stunning strike. Then Arsenal, in the final few seconds, launched a swashbuckling counter-attack from a MOLDE corner. Raced the length of the pitch through Granit Xhaka, found Eddie Nketiah, and when he looked for Joe Willock in the box, it was Morgan who slid in and slid it past his own goalkeeper, Linda. So going into half-time, it's 1-1 here, and we'll be hearing from Adrian Clark and, of course, Nick Bright right after these.
Plane spotters would come from miles around just to see one land. For millions of economy passengers, they wouldn't fly any other aircraft as they just knew the difference. For those that flew upstairs, one of the biggest thrills was just walking up the stairs. It's the closest a plane has ever come to a luxury cruise liner. Complete privacy, if that's what you wanted. Or the company of friendly strangers to help the journey seem so much shorter. And when it's time for a nice long sleep, or to wake you up if you prefer, an amazing hot shower was waiting. Yes, a shower on a plane. So as routes slowly open up, it's back to the skies. A little different perhaps for now, but underneath it all, the smile is the same as it was before. So when you're ready to reconnect with our big beautiful world, remember, this isn't just flying. This is the Emirates A380. Emirates. Fly better.
I'd like to taste a real Italian coffee, please.
She said real Italian coffee?
In a capsule?
An eco capsule.
What?
Compostable!
In harmony with nature.
You mean a compostable capsule?
With Italian taste.
Buonissimo.
Yes, Lavazza. Your home coffee experience goes compostable with the new Lavazza Eco Caps. Lavazza, more than Italian.
Well done.
Welcome back to the Breakdown Live. Then currently 1-1 at half-time between Arsenal and MOLDE. Not the most exciting first half. Adrian Clark, who's still with me, but at least we go in at the break all level.
Well, it got better, didn't it, in the last 2 or 3 minutes of that first half, where really we scored 2 goals. I think that much is clear. That I think if VAR had been in play, then Eddie Nketiah would have had that goal standing, even though Willock was in an offside position and kind of close to him. I don't think ultimately he interfered, but there you go. It was a nice goal on the counter-attack at the end. But prior to that, it had been a really flat, disappointing performance. No real energy, invention, and a very poor goal to concede from a defensive point of view as well. So, yeah, lots to work on, I think, at half-time and beyond.
So do you think in the dressing room right now, I guess I use happy loosely when I say this, when I say, do you think Mikel Arteta will be happy? Because I don't think he'll be happy with the performance, but do you think he'll be content, I guess?
I think he'll be happy with the scoreline because he knows that his team haven't played well. And to go in at 1 apiece is a bit of a result, really, given what it was looking like turning out to be. You know, Arsenal were 1-0 down, and if anything, Molde had 1 or 2 moments there where you thought they might go and extend their lead. That didn't happen, and we get ourselves that equaliser out of nowhere, really, full length of the pitch, counter-attack. Again, it's a goal that we don't really create. We don't have to, use movement or imagination to open up Molde. It's basically outnumbering them on the counter-attack and using our pace. And we did it great. It's brilliant. We're fantastic at that. So we shouldn't knock it. There's lots of ways to score a goal. But when you're at home to Molde with 60% of possession, I think we should be creating more than 5 shots. And that's all we had in that first half.
Yeah, most definitely. As always, you've been getting in touch and submitting your questions and topics that you'd like myself and Adrian to discuss. If you haven't done so already and you'd like to, at Adrian J. Clark is where you need to go on Twitter. You can get your suggestions in for full time, of course, whilst the second half is on as well. So let's have a look at the first topic that we're going to get into then. And it's this one from Adam, who says, one of those moments where you can see the goal is coming before it happens. The high turnover from the goal kick caught the entire Arsenal team cold. A terrific shot, but the amount of space afforded to them was criminal. Yeah, almost in commentary, Adrian, I could hear Max and David, and I totally agree with that tweet there. I could kind of tell that a really good opportunity was going to come, and there was nothing we could do to stop it. Yeah,
first and foremost, Dave was bang on because he said that why is Leno kicking the ball long to Eddie Nketiah down the middle? He's up against a 6'3" centre half, and that's a very valid point. But the second point is that you have to be solid down the spine of the field, and we weren't. Everyone funneled wide and very, very high. Yet the centre halves were incredibly deep. They were practically on the goal line. And then when the ball's in midair, no one reacts. No one squeezes in. As the ball goes in midair, everyone should just tuck in and make sure Arsenal are nice and solid down the middle of the pitch. And the back guys need to squeeze up. None of that happened, or it happened, but it happened way too slow. And from that second ball, the guy had too much time to pick his spot. I think Leno should probably save it, but I'd rather credit the guy for a very good shot from Ellingson. Bit of skid on the surface tonight, so we'll let Leno off for that one. But it was a bad defensive goal to concede. Yeah,
it's one of those that you want to put the buffers on before he even gets the opportunity to shoot. Yeah. That's where the mistake comes from, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next message that we've got: someone feels like they've seen this goal before or something similar. That is, and we've got it here. It says, Molde took a page out of the playbook from Leicester, defend well and hit us on the counter. So far, working perfectly. The Leicester game, very frustrating. And this one, I wouldn't say it was necessarily exactly the same as Leicester, but they kind of got their first good opportunity and they stuck it in the back of the net.
They did, yeah. They were efficient, weren't they? But no, we haven't played anywhere near as well as we played in the first half against Leicester. It's been more like the second half against Leicester where we didn't really create anything. I think Ceballos has probably been one of our better players. I think Willock has driven into the box better than anybody else in forward areas. I think Willian and Pepe's end product has been very disappointing for players of their calibre. Eddie's had not enough touches up until, of course, when he laid on the goal. So yeah, there's a lot to work on in forward areas. It's been very stagnated, hasn't it, inside the opposition half. I don't think we're seeing any fluency from the Gunners at the moment. And it's hard to watch because we're kind of used to seeing Arsenal toy with opposition teams, aren't we, down the years inside the opposition half? But right now, that's not happening.
Well, just on Willian and Pepe, you mentioned them there. We had a little bit of a discussion about them in the pre-match show, and you said it's kind of a bit of a shootout between those two, trying to prove themselves to the manager and which one goes ahead in the pecking order. And you would think based on that they'd be giving it a little bit more. Yeah,
I don't necessarily think it's a lack of effort, but you're looking for a bit more drive, a little bit more passion, a bit more intensity about their work, but also, given how good they are, I mean, we know how talented both of them are. When they get into those wide areas and look up to play the pass, play the shot, play the cross, I mean, you expect better, really. I think both men have given the ball away cheaply and overhit crosses and misplaced them as well. So, yeah, I think that those two have probably been the two letdowns at the first period. And yeah, you're looking for more. I mean, in terms of a shootout, neither man has stuck their hand up and said, you have to pick me against Aston Villa at the weekend. It could be one of those where neither of them starts at this rate, with maybe Saka pushed into one of the forward spots. But yeah, look, they've got another 45 to go out and show us better, really. Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at our next topic of discussion then. And I believe this one is about slow ball movement from Reese. Too many touches before we play the pass. Need to move the ball a lot quicker to create more chances. We've spoke about this as well, haven't we, Adrian? On numerous occasions, it's all a bit pedestrian.
It really is, yeah. No combination play, no one and two touch football. That's what breaks down stubborn opposition, and we're not producing enough of it at the moment. This is our passes. In terms of, ignore the red ones, they're unsuccessful crosses. So really that's highlighting Willian and Pepe sort of misplacing the balls into the box. What I want to highlight is around the edge of the 18-yard box where the D is, not one pass played into a player in central areas inside the final third. We always seem to funnel the ball wide and attack from the corner of the 18-yard box or from the flank. I would like to see many, many more passes going central into the feet of Nketiah or into the path of runners that make bursts in behind centre-backs. Leicester's goal against us recently was a pass down the middle of the pitch, wasn't it, for Cengiz Under. We don't tend to do that. We're very predictable in the way we go wide and then we come in. And I think that map shows that pretty well. That's something that we see regularly, actually, and I feel it's an area we can certainly improve on.
Potentially with the performance, this is a different game, but I thought I'd throw it in anyway, with the performance of Thomas Partey and Mohamed El Neni in the last game. Would you say that that's something that they can bring to the team a little bit more, because they're obviously both playing in the centre of the park?
Parneni, they well, what you see from, actually, yes, I do, because what caught my eye about El Neni the other day was his drive. When he got the ball, he wanted to surge forward and play the forward pass. And Thomas Partey, we've seen it already, he fizzes the ball into front men as often as he possibly can. He wants to play those vertical passes, as much as he does the easy sideways passes. So, yeah, I think that they do offer something different. But even so, I think even when they're playing, we can attack down the spine of the field much better. Remember the days of Olivier Giroud, knocking the ball into him, support runners to come off him to the left, to the right. We used to scythe through teams. We're not really doing that at the moment. I think we can mix up our attacks and the way we try and hurt opposition teams much more than we do.
Yeah, right. The players just returning out onto the pitch of the Emirates, but I reckon we got time to squeeze in one more. So let's have a look at the next topic that has been sent to us, and it is this one from the Arsenal Dream, saying, I wouldn't make any changes. The players who started need to fix up and make the difference tonight. So no Oba, no Laka. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they've been rested for a reason. Yeah, there's no need to panic. This team is more than good enough to go out and beat MOLDE and to win the second half and to take us effectively into the next stage. Yeah, I want to have a longer look at these guys to see what they can offer. I think they are better than what they showed in that first half. And I think that Mikel will have sent them out, not with a flea in their ear, but said, look, show us what you're about. That wasn't really good enough in the first period. We're lucky to be one apiece. go out and show us what you're all about in the second period. Hopefully that will happen.
All right, Adrian, thank you for the minute. Back with me at full time. Of course, remember, if you want to get a question into Adrian, like I said earlier, on Twitter, that's the best way to do it. At Adrian J. Clark is what you need to do. Hopefully, the next time you see us, we'll be celebrating the perfect record in our Europa League group so far, 3 out of 3. But right now, it's 1-1 between Arsenal and Molde. And we're back out for the second 45 with Max and David.
Thanks, guys. Great stuff as always. We are ready to go here for the second half at Emirates Stadium. No changes for Arsenal, so Adrian will be very pleased, I imagine, based on that final point. But there is a change for the visiting side. It's Sheriff Sinyan who's come on in place of Gregerson at centre-back, who's the son of Gambian parents who moved to Norway when he was young. He came through his local side's academy before earning a big move to Lillestrøm. He's quite new, actually, at Molde. He only joined this summer. He's played quite a key role in their top-tier progress this season, which sees them currently second in the table as we approach the season's end in Norway. Here we go anyway. Arsenal immediately giving away a free kick just inside their own half, and it's David Luiz, a foul on Umwa Jinfo. Just see led with his arm there, David.
Yes, he just didn't want to move the ball quick enough, though. Again, it was, taking too many touches. Arsenal a little bit too relaxed at the start of this second half, which I'm sure the manager would have said, let's get that out of the system. Let's not be like that. Straight away, David Luiz is like it, and yeah, he's put his hand across just to sort of buy yourself a little bit more time.
There's a lofted ball over the top there towards Bolly, who looked to get on the end of it and put in a first-time delivery. Skodran Mustafi it was who matched him for pace to give the German defender some credit. Mattis Bolly is actually renowned for his speed. Back in 2009, he was recorded as one of the league's fastest ever players. He's 30 now, so even though he is in his advancing years of his football career, Mustafi still did really well to match him stride for stride. But there is a delivery in from the corner kick. And for a second, it looked as though some of the Molde attacking players had stolen a bit of a march from the Arsenal defenders, who were all a bit stationary. It was Sinyan, I think it was, attacking just on the edge of the 6-yard box, but he couldn't connect with it. And in the end, the ball has rolled out safely onto this near side. Here's Xhaka switching play to Maitland-Niles. Plays a first-time ball in towards Willian, takes a touch, turns and finds Mustafi. Back to Willian in the Arsenal right-back position. Now Mustafi can get it out of his feet. Clip one over the top, but Sinyan's underneath it, and Molde win the ball back with Bolly again, who's gone round the outside of Mustafi and has clipped one in. But Dani Ceballos was there to win back possession and find Willian once more on the right-hand side. Willian back to Mustafi, who's seen plenty of the ball so far. Just 3 minutes into this second half, Skodran Mustafi has probably touched it more than any other Arsenal player. Now Pepe on the halfway line, opposite flank to Willian, of course. David Luiz exchanging passes with Nketiah, who had come deep towards the halfway line, just out of the corner of our eye. We saw Nicola Pepe shoot off there, looking for a really fast pass from David Luiz, but just as he did a moment ago, as David alluded to, just took a bit too much time on the ball. Missed that run, and now Arsenal are patiently keeping possession on the right-hand side. Here's Dani Ceballos just inside the Molde half. Now Maitland-Niles to the edge of the box. It's a clever first-time ball by Nketiah. Nearly found its way all the way through to Joe Willock, who had made the overlapping run into the channel. It was Hussein who was back covering and puts it out for a throw-in just by the right-sided corner flag. Maitland-Niles joins the attack to take the throw. Willian to Skodran Mustafi. All of Arsenal's outfield players now in the Molde half. Mustafi can carry it forward. 15 yards inside the visitors' final third now. Going all the way back to Mustafi again. And now Louise. Here's Pepe. Kolasinac it is who's providing the option ahead of him. Instead, he's ducked back in to find Kolasinac. Now recycled by Granit Xhaka. Dani Ceballos being able to find Xhaka again, and he's threaded it through to Kolasinac, who apologises to Xhaka, I believe it was, who was on the edge of the box. In fact, it might have even been Nketiah who'd held his run. It's a really good ball, actually, though, isn't it, from Xhaka to pick out Kolasinac, and you'd be expecting him to do better from that area.
Yeah, it's a slide rule pass from Xhaka into Kolasinac between full-back and third central defender, but again, it's that last little bit of finishing. That last pass from Kolasinac back to Xhaka wasn't there. Oh, it's a great ball in from Willian.
Yeah, there's a wicked pass in from Willian. He drove his cross low and hard. David Luiz it was who had gambled on the near post delivery after Willian had exchanged a short corner with Nicola Pepe to widen the angle. Luiz couldn't quite bring it under control. Not really sure what he was trying there. Maybe he's just trying to flick it with the outside of his boot as he ran across it. In the end, it's behind the goal. MOLDE can get us back underway from a goal kick, which is lofted long towards the halfway line. Mustafi's underneath it, wins the header, but MOLDE come again. Another lofted ball, and now here comes Bolly, accelerating away from the Arsenal defenders. Mustafi it is who heads clear as far as Ikram on the edge of the box. Now the flag goes up. Just getting a couple of glimpses here of the searing pace of Bolly on this left-hand side. Arsenal really struggling to stay with him at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to avoid any firework puns, but he certainly had a rocket in him then, didn't he? I mean, he went past David Luiz like he wasn't there, and fortunately for David Luiz, he didn't connect. He tried to actually cut across his path in the fashion we know that David likes to when he's been done for pace, and didn't connect. But there's worrying signs there. But Arsenal just, again, Adrian picked up in it at half time. It's got to be 1 and 2 touch. Every time Arsenal move the ball quickly, something happens. And you know, when they hold on to it, they get put under pressure.
Maitland-Niles trying to add a bit of zip into Arsenal's attack there, looking for Willian, who had made the run off his marker. Again, though, the final ball not quite good enough. It rolls out of play and out for a goal kick. We're just getting a few shots here of Bukayo Saka, Thomas Partey and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang all warming up. Don't imagine Arsenal are going to be making a change just yet. But there are several options on the bench should Mikel Arteta require them. So far, he has trusted the side that went into half-time at 1-1. Here's Dani Ceballos through the middle of the pitch to find Sead Kolasinac. It was a low delivery towards the penalty spot. Eddie Nketiah had made the run, but it's Sinyan who gets across to clear the danger. Arsenal getting the ball back in play quickly with Granit Xhaka, though. Now maybe here's where they build up the intensity a bit more. Mustafi with a quick ball out to Willian on the right-hand side. Faced up one-on-one against Bolly. He's used the overlapping run of Joe Willock, who swings a ball across, and then it was an open goal, which somehow Sead Kolasinac has not hit the target on.
It's a good play again. Arsenal moving the ball quickly. Started off with that fast pass from Mustafi, overlap from Willock. Big fumble by the keeper, pushes it into the path of Kolasinac, who's on the corner of the 6-yard box. Right-footed, half volley. Oh, that's a swinger. He's only just got to control that into the net. We'll be very disappointed with that. But I suppose the only excuse is it's not on his best foot, Max.
You're a lot more generous and forgiving there, David, than I thought you were going to be.
I'm trying to see the brighter side of it, but you know, well, he won't want to see the replay of that. Put it that way. He'll be tuning out at that particular point when he's watching this back. So
we've seen before, Sead Kolasinac, he can really drive a ball, quite often when he drives the ball, he puts his foot through it and keeps it low. On this occasion, though, just got all of his weight underneath it, just scooped it over the crossbar, as David said, from just inside the 6-yard box. Arsenal still on the front foot, and here is Kolasinac, not to be deterred by that miss. He's going to keep pushing forward for Arsenal. As Xhaka looks to go backwards to David Luiz. Arsenal just being patient now. But that chance did come from a bit more added emphasis on getting the ball out of their feet and just driving a bit more directly. Joe Willock, of course, forcing the mistake from the goalkeeper in that attack, and now he's in the box here to clip one in towards the far post where Willian was waiting. But it's headed clear by Bjornbak. Now Mustafi stepping out of defence to join the attack. Instead turning round to find Ceballos, who had provided cover for the centre-back. Now Ceballos again. Ainsley Maitland-Niles has arced his run on the right-hand side. Ceballos looking to clip one over the top towards him. He's actually done really well to win the rebound, Ceballos, and now it's back with Willian twisting and turning on the right-hand edge of the penalty area. No way through, so Arsenal will go back. Here's Mustafi to Willian again. Just about manages to bring that ball under control, and now it's on the edge of the box with Granit Xhaka, who almost was teed up by Joe Willock, but it's Kolasinac now. First time delivery was blocked by Wingo, but it's with Kolasinac again. Now Xhaka. Arsenal seeing plenty of the ball in the last couple of minutes. It's a bit more direct though from Xhaka this time to find Nketiah. He's got 2 men on him. One of them's Wingo, who's forced him out of the box. And Nketiah's gone back to Xhaka. Xhaka just waiting for that option to open up on the left-hand side. Here it is with Pepe. 1-2 with Kolasinac before. 1-2 with Granit Xhaka followed. Just seeing possession stats for this game so far. Arsenal dominating it with 65%. Still failing to find that final ball, as Pepe this time got in behind Molde's back line. Couldn't find the cross. Now here comes Hussein in the Molde midfield. It's a really clever first-time reverse ball by Ikram just to relieve the pressure on his defenders. Dani Ceballos commits the foul on the halfway line. So a bit of respite now for Molde, who have been up against it for the past few minutes.
Yeah, it was a good period of possession for Arsenal, but what was nice about it, it was sharp. It was all 1-2 touch. Granit Xhaka at the heart of it. 2 or 3 times he put the ball into Kolasinac and then Nketiah on this side. Really nice threaded passes. What Arsenal need to do, dominate. But what was key in that, Max, was all the while Arsenal had that possession, we're just seeing David Luiz go into the book now for a foul. What was key was the defence were pushed right up. They pinned Molde back in their own half. We're just seeing what Luiz was up to. It's a shove, isn't it, into the chest of Amadou Amfo.
Yeah, we've seen Harry Kane getting a fair bit of stick this week for every time it appears that a player goes up for a header or a goal kick, anything like that. Harry Kane it is who leans into his man, and David Luiz with a touching tribute there to the Spurs striker, perhaps a bit more deliberate. Certainly looked a bit more obvious than any of Kane's misdemeanours. Molde back on the front foot again with Ellingson, who opened the scoring with that unstoppable left-footed strike. Now Hussein can spray it out to the left-hand side. Now Horgan can bring it down on his chest. It was his own goal that got Arsenal back in the game. That's good pressure though from Dani Ceballos, who can run clear. Arsenal have got a man over here. It's Eddie Nketiah and Nicola Pepe on the left-hand side. It does come to Pepe, who just looked to try and place one into the bottom corner, much in the similar vein to how Ellingson did in the first half. That is a wasted opportunity though for Arsenal, because they did have more players, didn't they, coming forward?
Yeah, they did, but in fairness, they're just looking at the screen. 7 Molde players already back in their half, and it was that man, Dani Ceballos, breaking up play really quickly and effectively in the right-hand, inside right position, and turning defence into attack. Arsenal definitely had a flea in their ear at half-time, and stepped it up a bit in this second half.
In comes the corner ball from Willian, but it's easily claimed in the end from Linda, the 6'5" Swede, who can release their number 30. Of course, his volley has caused Arsenal's defenders all sorts of problems in the opening stages of this second half. It looks like he might be struggling with a touch of cramp. 29-year-old was born in Oslo to a Norwegian mother and an Ivorian father. He represented Norway at youth level, but then switched to Ivory Coast to earn his first 5 senior caps. Been capped for a while, but his performances like the first 10 minutes of this second half, which will really put him on the radar of the international coach. Of course, he's got a fellow Ivorian on the pitch with him as well today, the former Nicola Pepe. Still waiting for him to burst into life tonight. Here's Willian to Dani Ceballos. Now Xhaka to Louise on the halfway line. Again, Mustafi is the option to his right shoulder. So he finds him. Mustafi can bring Maitland-Niles into play. Back with Mustafi. All 11 Molde players behind the ball now. No real intention to press Arsenal too high up. Although Wolf Eikram there, the captain, was just hoping to nick that one off Granit Xhaka's feet as the ball was rolled into him. Arsenal do maintain possession. And it's Louise to Kolasinac on this left-hand side. Pepe had made the overlapping run. Kolasinac didn't spot him. Back with Louise. And now back with Kolasinac. Arsenal again a bit static. 4 players in the box, but other than that, no real runners inside. They do manage to work it to the right-hand side. And here's Joe Willock, edge of the box to Granit Xhaka. First-time ball outside of the boot towards Joe Willock again, who manages to find the back of the net. And it might have been via another deflection, this time from Sinyan. But all of that came from Joe Willock just taking the game by the scruff of its neck, I think. More than anything, just adding that extra midfield runner. A quick 1-2 with Granit Xhaka over the top. And then played it in off Sinyan to give Arsenal the lead for the very first time on the night. It's Arsenal 2, Molde 1.
Yeah, it's persistent from Joe Willock. He gets the ball, plays it out to Willian first, tries to get a 1-2 off with Willian on the right-hand side. And he gets the ball back from Willian, plays it inside to Xhaka. And to be honest, he's got no right to get to the return of Xhaka's flicked ball through, but he does. The defender, Haugen, again it is, misses completely, and its persistence pays off for Joe Willock. Credit to him. He's been a driving force when he's been on those forward runs. And I think, after that dominating possession Arsenal have had at the start of this second half, it's just rewards really for upping your game.
So, in the wake of that, both sides have made a change. Bring you the Arsenal one first. Cedric's coming on to replace Ainsley Maitland-Niles. It looks like Arsenal will make another change as well, as Bukayo Saka is coming on for Willian. So some fresh legs there for Arsenal. And meanwhile, Knutson has come on for the visitors. Here is Sinyan. Again, it's a loose pass there from Molde. Now Arsenal could be in again, but the ball perhaps came to Cedric a bit too quickly after he'd just come onto the pitch. He couldn't sort his feet out quickly enough. Cedric is back in position though, right wing back. As Molde do look to build on their defensive line. This is a bit better from Arsenal though, a bit more pressing. Nketiah and Nicola Pepe look to steal the ball inside the Molde half, but Norwegians have done well to break the high press. Now here's Eikram, a lovely outside of the boot pass from Ellingson. Unfortunately doesn't come off. He looks for the overlapping run of Wingo. just had confirmation that has gone down as a Sinyan own goal. So Arsenal's 2 goals on the night have been scored by MOLDE defenders, both forced into their mistakes by Joe Willock. So another European night, David, and another European night where Joe Willock has shone.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a cruel game sometimes because he doesn't even get an assist, Max, with those goals. So, but he has forced them, and he has been the one, to make that transition between midfield and forward, break the lines for Arsenal, and it's paid off. But as I said, Arsenal have started much sharper this second half, and I wonder if the substitutions would just add a little bit more zest to the forward line with Bukayo Saka. Suarez as well will be on the front foot. We just see him now right-hand side, high up the pitch. So hopefully Arsenal can get this tie put to bed.
Loads of time and space on the left-hand side for Kolasinac. He swings it in towards the far post. Nicola Pepe it was who met it on the volley. His volley straight at Linda.
Yeah, he does well, and it's a great run by Bukayo Saka initially, who draws Wingo away from Kolasinac, allowing the space for the ball to be crossed in. And he does well, Pepe, to control that. It's a difficult ball to hit first time. All the players suddenly growing a little bit in confidence in this Arsenal side.
Yeah, you can hear Mikel Arteta in the background screaming at his players again. Let's keep this press up. Bukayo Saka, who was chasing down the loose ball. MOLDE are still in possession of it. But they have been forced all the way back to their goalkeeper. And this is much better from Arsenal. Much more organised as they all press together as one cohesive unit. MOLDE retain their composure, and they're just able to pass their way through the lines to win a throw-in on this near side, which wins a round of applause from Erling Moe, the visiting head coach. Here's Hussein occupying the deepest role in this MOLDE midfield. Ikram had dropped off as well to try and offer some support, but they lose out possession, and it was very nearly a loose ball by Granit Xhaka, almost picked up on by Knutson. MOLDE do get the ball back through Ellingson. Now here's Wingo right-hand side. Ikram, who's got a bit of time, a bit of space to pick his delivery. He swings one into the box, headed clear by David Luiz. And now Cedric can gallop forward on the right-hand side. He's got a bit of pace to burn as well, has Cedric. He's got Nicola Pepe in support. A couple of step-overs from Pepe as he goes for the spectacular. Looking to curl one into the far corner. There were other runners coming in. Maybe a cross would have been a better option. Just see that one go. Didn't really get the necessary curl that he wanted on it, did he, David?
No, it's a frustrating end to a swift move. We're just seeing Cedric Suarez on the screen now, fast break, ball out to Pepe. And he did have Bukayo Saka out on this left-hand side, and he chose, as you say, he chose the spectacular, didn't he, the worldie. And it's not come off for him. And, I just wonder whether the substitution of Willian is to rest him a little bit for the weekend. Maybe Pepe stays on because he's not going to be involved. Maybe he senses that and he's trying to pick out something special in his remaining time on the pitch to sort of say to the manager, I want to play Saturday sort of thing. So I'm not going to forgive him for it, but I can understand why he wants to get himself back in the game with a worldie goal, but he's not getting it from there.
So 68 minutes on the clock. Arsenal leading 2-1 on the night, 2 own goals. Let's hear what Adrian Clark has made of this second half performance so far, and more importantly, what he feels that we can learn from this game.
Yeah, well, it's been better, hasn't it, Max, in the second half? One clear difference. Arsenal squeezed up the pitch and pressed. I'll just hold off.
Well, here is an attack, and it's Knutson, the substitute, who gets into the box, but Dani Ceballos is there to cover, and then Mustafi can hoof it clear towards the halfway line. Arsenal do have options here if they want a quick counter-attack. Instead, it's rolled out by Joe Willock to Nketiah, who's just going to slow things down a bit. Saka it is, who's overlapping on the left-hand side. Just one player in the box for Arsenal, but it comes to Pepe at the far post. And just as David Hillier was saying he needed to do, he gets a round of applause from Alex Lacazette. He's currently warming up on the touchline. It's a first-time strike by Pepe, not even a smile from the Ivorian. As that ball hit the back of the net, he connected with it really cleanly. We'll hear from Adrian Clark very shortly, but firstly, David, your reaction to that goal?
Yeah, it was just what he needed, wasn't it? It's what he's been looking for. It was a great run, peel out by Saka, and he gets on that overlap. And look at this, his vision. He can see that pass on the edge of the box. It's a great cutback from Bukayo Saka, and his assists have been brilliant this season. And it's quite a good finish from someone who's not been the most confident with his finishing. He controls it left-footed, edge of the box, just slots it down to Lynn's right-hand side. And there is that little sigh of relief as it goes in. You picked up on it, Max, on his face. He's got to be happy with that.
He celebrates straight away with Bukayo Saka. I do wonder, actually, whether that changes Adrian's analysis or not. We'll bring him in again now, Adrian. What were you going to say before
great goal.
Pepe rudely interrupted?
No. You've got to commentate on the game. No, it was a great goal. Wonderful goal. Lovely overlap from Saka. And that's what I'm talking about. Play closer together. Play in combinations. Create these overloads down the sides. Didn't do it in the first half quickly enough. The big difference, and it was a beautiful cutback, by the way. Absolutely sensational spot from Saka, and a difficult finish for Pepe that he made look easy. So yeah, really good goal. But no, the key difference is Arsenal have squeezed up the pitch. They've moved to a back four. Xhaka's in midfield now, and
there might be in a bit of trouble here as Bernd Leno's tested. Again, it was a substitute, Knutson. Leno just holding up a hand just to say, don't worry, guys, I had that one covered. But Arsenal just a bit lax at the back, just allowing Knutson to get into the box once more.
Yeah, it's hotting up, isn't it, second half? A bit more action-packed, that's for sure. But no, the attitude's been better. We've pressed from the front. And I just think that Arsenal always look a better side when they're assertive, when they look to hunt impacts inside the opposition half. That's the big difference. And we're looking a much, much better side second half.
Molde can bring the ball forward again, though. And it's Onwujinfo, who we've not seen too much of in this second half. Nigerian. Now can bring the ball into midfield where Hussein can switch to the left-hand side. Here's Hogan looking to deliver one. Can't get the ball past Cedric, who's taken an almighty thump right in his body. The ball was drilled in pretty hard from that left-hand side. Cedric's still trying to get his breath back, but Molde's still on the attack with Ikram, who sent a dipping strike towards Leno's goal. It's straight at the German's body. Now, just for a second, the referee can hold play while Cedric just gets his breath back.
I think he was being quite kind there. I think it was in a rather sensitive part of his body that the ball actually hit him. So fair play to him for standing on his feet. We're just seeing Nicola Pepe. Not sure whether he was walking over to the bench or not, was he, Max? He looked like he had his head down, but it looks like Molde are about to make some substitutions. Cedric still recovering from that body blow.
They hurt, especially on a cold night like tonight, David. Yeah, you almost don't want to imagine the pain that Portuguese fullback's going through at the moment, but he looks to be okay. He's running it off. It does give Molde an opportunity to make another couple of changes. We're seeing James is one of them, but firstly, Magnus Wolff-Eikrem, the captain, is going to leave the field. It's going to be Brynhildsson who comes on in his place. Fellow midfielder, Brynhildsson. He's got quite a famous father as well in Norway. Not for footballing reasons, though. But the other substitution that's being made, so then a number of different challenges now for each side to face as we get back underway now that Cedric can rejoin the action. Here we go with Mustafi back to Bernd Leno. Now David Luiz, left-hand side, is able to carry the ball about 10-15 yards before pinging one out And he's done really well to pick out Joe Willock. It's a good first touch from Willock in the box. And he looked to squeeze one past Linda. The goalkeeper's foot's just about kept that one out. And now Molde can come forward again. It was a great first touch, wasn't it, from Willock? Really well spotted by David Luiz. Arsenal very nearly in for a fourth.
Yeah, Willock still making those runs. It's finding spaces, but it was a range-finder pass from David Luiz. When Arsenal on the attack again. Yeah, range-finding pass from David Luiz. Great first touch, and Willock unlucky to get his own goal tonight instead of just forcing 2 own goals.
One of the substitutes that we've seen just come on from Molde is Micah James. He scored 39 goals in 45 games for Nigerian club Bridge Boys before then going on to score 37 in 90 for Norwegian side Ausland. It's actually a second spell in Norway after a season in the Chinese second division, where he played for Beijing Enterprises, which you may remember as the team that Sheikh Tiote was playing for last. He's back in Norway now, and in North London with an opportunity to test Arsenal's defenders. He certainly looked a lot more organised in this second half. A lot of that comes from what you and Adrian were saying, David, about Arsenal playing a lot higher up, defending higher up, and making sure that the Norwegian side don't have the opportunity to play between the lines.
Yeah, and what they've done is, like Adrian picked up, and they've released that spare player. Granit Xhaka doesn't need to be back in the defence. He needs to push in, and he's been much more influential this second period. From his starting position, has been a lot higher up the pitch. And you know, I was looking at half time at the average position for Arsenal. You had David Luiz and Mustafi in their own half, which you'd expect, but Dani Ceballos was there. He's not there this half. He's predominantly in his opposition's half. So Arsenal definitely pushed up the pitch, has made a massive difference.
That's a cynical foul from Bukayo Saka on the left-hand side. And he will go into the referee's book, bringing down Wingo as he escapes him to get into the area. So Arsenal with a free kick to defend, right side of the area, probably about 10 yards in from the corner flag. 2 players stood over it for Molde. One of them is Orsnes, who's taken the captain's armband ever since Eikrem left the pitch. The other one is Ellingson, who we know has got a sweet left foot. We've already seen that tonight. He's scoring the opening goal. Ellingson has actually run into the box now, so it will be Orsnes to deliver, right-footed from the right-hand side. He's gone short instead. It's clipped in by the right-back Wingo, but headed clear by Skodran Mustafi on the edge of his 6-yard box. It's back into the box, though, with James, who's taken a nice couple of touches to bring it under before whipping it in once more. Kolasinac can chest that one down under pressure. James picks it up again, edge of the box, looking to switch possession to the right-hand side, but Bukayo Saka was there to read the danger, and via Bernd Leno has found David Luiz. Now back to Saka, left touchline, out level with the edge of Arsenal's penalty area. Dani Ceballos can twist and turn, take about 20 touches just to make sure that he wriggles away from any danger, just as Dani Ceballos does. Really smart and intelligent player in those sorts of positions. David Luiz just asked a couple of questions there by Granit Xhaka's pass across goal. Poked well with it and has just about managed to find Joe Willock in midfield. Now here's Dani Ceballos again. He's got Pepe on the right-hand side and he's found him, and Cedric's overlapping, but Pepe's just taking a slightly heavy touch and allows Morgan to clear it as far as Dani Ceballos, who evades one challenge. Step over to find Joe Willock, left-hand side, left-footed cross in towards Eddie Nketiah, who was stooping low with a diving header.
Are you okay?
And the ball creeps just wide of that bottom corner.
Yes, that man Ceballos again driving forward. It's not the greatest of balls in. Joe Willock and Eddie Nketiah tries to make the most of it, but it's It's a difficult header when it's going away from the ball's going away from goal. He's got to put all the power into it himself. But just looking again at that, David Luiz raking past to Joe Willock's run down the centre of the pitch, and it was a delightful first touch. Yes, and it is the left foot of Andreas Linde that keeps it out.
Well, that will be the end of Dani Ceballos' evening. Has certainly been one of the standout performers for Arsenal tonight on an evening where it has been tough to break down the opposition. So he's one of the changes. Dani Ceballos leaves the field to be replaced by Mohamed El Neni. Now Kieran Tierney has joined the action, coming on for Granit Xhaka. Here comes Joe Willock, still full of running, even in the 80th minute of this game. El Neni back to Luiz, who coincidentally has taken the captain's armband. Now to Tierney. Saka with a really nice turn to get away from his man. That's a great flick from Eddie Nketiah. And now Saka hits the post and it's back through Eddie Nketiah, who looks like he's going to get his second goal of the evening disallowed for offside. I think this one might be a bit more accurate than the first decision, though.
Yeah, it's good work from Arsenal. Saka and into Pepe, who does a little flick on the edge of the D to Suarez, but Saka continues his run. He's on the edge of the 6-yard box, 2 yards offside. And as you said, Nketiah comes in, slots it in for his second disallowed goal of the evening.
Here's Hussein picking the ball up on the halfway line to find one of the new introductions for MOLDE, Brynhildsen. Looks to be a sharp player in that midfield, Brynhildsen. Now MOLDE can come forward on the left-hand side. Brynhildsen had carried his run forward, but Kieran Tierney's there to cover, and Bernd Leno had come screaming off his line to make sure that that ball was his. In the end, MOLDE a bit too keen to get on the ball. Brynhildsen's penalised there for pushing the back on Kieran Tierney. A free kick for Arsenal just inside their own 6-yard box. Bernd Leno will take his time to take as the clock ticks into the 82nd minute. We're just getting a glimpse of Matt Macey on the bench. Must be pretty cold being a substitute goalkeeper on nights like these. Luiz back to Bernd Leno. First couple of touches for Mohamed El Neni. Really has become a fan favourite for his performance at Old Trafford. Eddie Nketiah it is, who's brought down about 10 yards into the Arsenal half. El Neni will leave this free kick for David Luiz to switch play to the right-hand side. He's got Cedric right underneath the ball. Brings it down effortlessly to find Joe Willock. Looked like he was going to play a forward pass there, Willock, but he just checked himself and thought that retaining possession would be better than trying to force anything at this late stage. It does mean that David Luiz can come forward to find Kieran Tierney, who for the first time is in the MOLDE half. Nketiah playing a 1-2 off a MOLDE defender to find Bukayo Saka, who was in an offside position. Linde didn't know that, and he's produced a decent enough save. I mean, the ball was straight at him. It does mean that MOLDE player who has gone down can receive treatment after Eddie Nketiah played it off a painful region, shall we say.
Yeah, he does well though, Eddie Nketiah. He pounces on it straight away when the possession's turned over on the edge of MOLDE's box, and Bukayo Saka is only a foot maybe in an offside position. He's looking along the line. You know, you would hope that he could get himself onside. Tries to bend his run, but Arsenal being selective now when they go forward, Max, and not under too much pressure. But they're happy to keep MOLDE pressed back in their half going into this last 7 or 8 minutes. And I've got to say, you know, we've done all 3 games together so far in this Europa campaign, and you know, there seems to be the same sort of theme with these sides. They start off well, they're compact, they're structured, but Arsenal have done well to be patient in these games and wait they get a period when they can break the opposition down, and they've done it again tonight, and look like they're going to go away worthy winners in this match.
Molde, though, determined to get something else from this game. Still 5 minutes left to play in North London, plus any time added on. Orsnes out to the right-hand side for Wingo. Again, though, Arsenal with a good defensive structure have forced Molde all the way back to their centre-back, Bjornbach. Now here's Hussein trying to loft one over the top, angling a drive up towards James, who's brought it down on his chest before letting fly, and it's hit the side netting, actually. Took a wicked deflection off David Luiz. Bern Leno, for a second, looked to be stuck where he was.
It shows great centre-forward play, Leke James. The ball's hung up, edge of the box, and he leads into Mustafi and controls it. And David Luiz, he gets a block from quite a distance, really, and it just slips away into the side netting. But that was strong play from the Molde forward.
Well, this is a nice moment here for the substitute coming on, Matthias Mostrom. We'll tell you about him in a second as the ball's whipped in from the corner towards the near post. Arsenal still haven't cleared it, but will be penalised here. I think it was a high foot in the end. But the man that's just come onto the pitch here for Ellingson is Matthias Mostrom. He's a 37-year-old right winger who has been at Molde since 2006. He actually racked up an incredible number of appearances for his former club AIK. It's actually his childhood side in Sweden, and he vowed to never play in Sweden again because he couldn't handle the thought of playing against AIK. So there he went off to go to Norway to join Molde, and he's since become their 5th all-time appearance maker, with more than 350 appearances. What a really nice way of adding some gloss to that career by being rewarded with a nice little run out at Emirates tonight. Here's El Neni finding Kieran Tierney. Now Joe Willock's able to turn in the box. He was on the penalty spot. He knows how good an opportunity that was as he holds his head with both hands. It's a good delivery from Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, Tierney picks him out on the penalty spot, and he is selfish there. He's in a good position to get the shot off, but he's got Nicola Pepe standing a yard away from him, who's demanding the ball, and he's disappointed he missed it. And I'm sure Pepe's disappointed that he didn't pass it. But just going back to Matthias Mostrom, yeah, I can understand after working with Anders Limpard that, not wanting.
Well, here's Joe Willock as he gets into the box, and he does get his goal. Well, it looked like that strike was going to evade him tonight. He's been so unlucky, Joe Willock. Of course, he was the man who forced the 2 errors for Arsenal's first 2 goals, the 2 own goals from Molde's defenders. Joe Willock on this occasion able to burst into the box and wrap a strike beyond Linda to make it Arsenal's 4th of the night and surely guarantee the 3 points.
Yeah, Arsenal, El Neni picking the ball up, passes it into the middle really quickly, and Joe's centre of the box, receives it from Pepe, first time touch into the roof of the net. Just as I was about to talk about the rivalry as well between Swedish teams, which I can understand why Matthias Mostrom wouldn't want to go back there and play for any other club. But I'm glad Joe got his goal. Deserves it. The manager knows he deserves it as well. He stuck it out, and he's really driven this team forward, the youngster tonight. Big smile on his face, and Arsenal worthy winners now at 4-1.
Well, that's Joe Willock's 10th goal for Arsenal and his 67th appearance, so not a bad return there for the midfielder who's mainly featured from the bench for Arsenal. Like we said, he does like a goal in these early stages of the Europa League. I do wonder, as he's 21 years old now, whether he's mature enough to take these performances into the latter stages of the competition as well, David.
Well, I'm sure he is, and as he has matured over the last couple of seasons, we've seen him do that, and then it will take him into the Premier League as well, Max. I think it's what he needs, the confidence in his game in that final third. But unfortunately, I don't think he always gets to play this role in the Premier League side when he comes into it. So he's got to take these opportunities and do what he does with them, because it's certainly his position, making the break from the midfield, being the one to be released on the forward runs.
Here's El Neni winning the ball back from Mostrom. Playing a first-time pass out to David Luiz. Just as the clock ticks into the 90th minute here at the Emirates. Just wondered who your man of the match was, David. Who stood out for you?
Well, for me, it's no-brainer. It's Joe Willock. I mean, he's driven the team forward. Oh, we're seeing a ball in from Saka there, and Nketiah nearly getting on the end of it. Joe, really, because he's not. I've not talked about him in any period of this game where I felt he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. I think all the other players have been a little bit flat at times. Could be accused of holding on to the ball too long, maybe being a bit lackadaisical, but not Joe. Forced 2 goals, got his own. Certainly my man of the match.
And there was an interesting comment from Mikel Arteta actually in the build-up to this game where he said Joe Willock has got qualities that no other midfielder in the Arsenal team has. So he's going to be huge, isn't he, for Arsenal this season?
Yeah, and if he can consistently perform like this, the manager cannot leave him out of the Premier League side. But then when he gets in there, Max, he's got to do the business. There's no time for people to settle in on that. He's got to go in and start performing. But as I say, he is allowed a slightly different role in this side, especially against this lesser opponents, if you like. So he can be released a bit. But he's done his calls, no harm at all today.
Arsenal can come forward for perhaps what is going to be the final time this evening. There were 2 minutes added onto the 90. About 1 minute in here. Mikel Arteta just waiting for that final whistle to blow. I guess most importantly for him, he's seen his side win a game convincingly in the end, but also no more injuries. We have been struggling for defenders recently in North London, so it's good to see that Arsenal have been able to get through this game without having to risk Rob Holding. He was one of the standout performers at Old Trafford on Sunday, and as Arteta revealed, he'd only actually done 1 training session before the game, so to have avoided injury to any of his other defenders tonight and to have not had to risk Rob Holding as well is a massive benefit. Well, there we go, that's the full-time whistle, and it's 4 goals, 3 points, and perhaps most importantly 3 wins from 3. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal side in this Europa League group so far. They are flying high at the top of Group B in the Europa League. It wasn't all going to plan for them tonight. Ellingson it was who gave MOLDE a shock lead in the opening stages of this encounter before Horgan's own goal, forced into that mistake of course by Joe Willock just before half-time. Drew the sides level at the break. Sinyan then came off the bench to score an own goal to give Arsenal the lead for the very first time in this game on the hour mark, and then Nicola Pepe and Joe Willock got in on the act to make it a more convincing scoreline before the end of the game. David, before we head to the studio to talk to Nick and Adrian, what's your key learning from tonight's performance?
Well, I think it's about how just positionally you can be affected by 20 metres. Arsenal pushing up that extra 20 yards, 20 metres in the second half made all the difference. The players need to see that themselves, though, earlier on in the game, pick up on it. The experienced players like David Luiz and push forward and condense the play a little bit, make it difficult. But I just think the way that the younger lads in the side, we keep calling them the young lads, and I know Nick was saying in the pre-match show they're not really young anymore because they've had loads of games and they've got experience. I think the way they drove the team forward was fantastic. So I'm just hoping that they can keep performing like this and take them performances into the Premier League side.
Well, David, like those players, you and I are getting older with each week, and we're getting more experience as we continue to talk our fans through the Europa League group stage. We've got 3 more European group games left. But obviously, next up is Aston Villa on Sunday. Dan Roebuck's going to be back for that. And of course, he'll be joined by Nick Bright and Adrian in the studio. We're going to head there now for all of the post-match analysis, the tweets and the debate. So thank you very much for joining us. Over to you guys.
Yeah, Max, David, thank you very much for your company this evening. Adrian Clark is still with me to discuss a 4-1 victory for Arsenal, Adrian. I mean, it sounds extremely flattering at the end of the day, doesn't it?
I think we deserved it in the second half. It was much better from the Gunners. It was a flat first period. I think we all agreed on that. But in the second half, the tempo was better, the shape was better. The work rate and appetite was clearly more intense, and that we won 4-1, and it could have been 5 or 6 really. That's what happens when your attitude is right and you come up against these minnows. You can sweep them to one side, and I think that the players and the coaching staff will actually be really satisfied as they sort of debrief it in the dressing room as we speak.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta will be pleased. A couple of cracking goals in there as well. Pick of the bunch for me, probably Nicola Pepe's rasping finish.
Oh, lovely, wasn't it? Yeah, no, I like the build-up to the goal as well. It was Nketiah peeled out to the left-hand side, and Bukayo Saka, as he so often does, times his overlap to perfection. He's such an intelligent footballer. And then was the best bit for me. Saka playing with his head up, sees exactly where Pepe is on the edge of the box, cuts it back quite beautifully, and they're easy to sky. When the ball comes back towards you, it's quite a difficult skill to keep the ball on the deck.
Yeah,
Pepe made it look incredibly easy, controlled it nicely, and yeah, that was a nice moment for him. I think Willian going off would have maybe told him that maybe he's got the nod for the weekend, but from that moment onwards, Pepe was much better, and he delivered a really strong end to the game.
Yeah, most definitely. Should be in the manager's thoughts. We'll have to see what happens with that starting lineup on Sunday for the Aston Villa game. Before we move on to the first of the 3 things that we've learned from tonight's performance, let's talk about Dani Ceballos, because, you know, we focused on him in the pre-match show. He was your key man. How do you think he got on this evening?
I thought he did really well. Yeah, I thought he was one of our better performers in the game. His defensive stats were incredible, actually. 2 tackles, 6 interceptions, which is very, very high, and 11 ball recoveries, which was the highest of any Arsenal player by some margin. So he picked up loose balls ever so well. And I also thought that his passing was good. He broke the lines really well. So yeah, I think it was a really positive night for Dani Ceballos. Just a little nudge, wasn't it, for Mikel Arteta? Look, I know about Partey and El Neni. We know that they're the men in possession of the shirts, but maybe it should be me and not Xhaka that's next in line should you need an extra midfielder at the weekend.
Yeah. Okay, then let's move on to the first of the 3 things that we've learned from tonight's performance then. And it is this. The right wing position is still up for grabs. We've had quite a few people online talking about this as well. So let's have a look at a few of those. This one here from DJ Blue UK saying today's battle between Pepe and Willian. Today is a battle, between Pepe and Willian, because that's the only position up for debate. Everybody else that started last Sunday should start this Sunday. Hamed says Pepe does have a moment of magic. He doesn't have to be involved in the whole game. We saw that today with the great goal. And Faceless Frederick says feeling for Reece Nelson was great last week. The inconsistencies of Pepe and Willian gives him every chance of forcing his way into Arteta's plans if he could just get a run without injuries. So yeah, the initial point, Adrian, was about the right hand side. Would you say it's still up for grabs? And if so, who do you think's in pole position to
Definitely,
get that?
Yeah. Just quickly on Reece Nelson, he picked up a minor knock in training, so that's why he wasn't in the matchday squad tonight. Not serious, but wasn't deemed worth the risk to play him, so he wasn't left out. Pepe and Willian, well, it's an interesting debate. I think that Pepe has more moments of magic in his boots. We saw that with his goal, and I thought it was a lovely assist as well for Joe Willock right at the end there. Slide rule pass into his pass, didn't have to break stride. He can unlock defences, I think, probably better than Willian. But Willian gives you other qualities. He's a very intelligent team player. He does more unselfish work, probably tracks back more diligently. And look, on his day, we know that he's got good delivery as well, like we saw against Fulham on the opening day. And look, Willian set up Bellerin for the penalty at Old Trafford, of course, with a lovely, perfect way to pass. That shouldn't be forgotten. So I think it's 50-50, but I think in Arteta's mind, it's probably 55% Willian, 45 Pepe for the weekend. But what Pepe came up with in the last 15 minutes, I suspect will ensure that if it's not going to plan, he'll come on at some stage against Aston Villa.
Yeah. Okay, that's the first thing. Let's have a look at the second thing, and lots of love for this guy online, as you can imagine. Joe Willock stands out in the Europa League again. Loads of tweets, loads of messages. This is just a selection. Hector saying Joe Willock makes things happen in the final third at Arsenal that none of our other midfielders seem to do. Eddie here saying, it's not Eddie and Nketiah, it's a different Eddie, saying Willock trying to force his way into Arsenal's first 11. And from tonight, he's done himself a whole lot of good. Guna Dub says, surely Joe Willock has got to start for Arsenal on Sunday. Only midfielder we have who gets past the centre forward. Been saying it for over a year. He's a top talent. And Ryan says, Joe Willock has been outstanding tonight. Really hope he can kick on and become a regular. Loves the club and knows what it means to play for Arsenal. Last week, Adrian, we were saying how good Willock was. This week, again, it seems like we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I think back-to-back man of the matches for Joe Willock, and that's just what he needed to remind everybody that he's someone worth considering for the Premier League. Max came up with a stat there towards the end. I think he scored his 10th goal for Arsenal's first team. The problem he's had is that 9 of those have come in the cup competitions in Europe or the domestic cups. Only one in the Premier League at Southampton not so long ago, earlier on this summer. And he's had 33 appearances in the Premier League, only 10 from the start. But that is the difference. If he can replicate what he's producing in Europe for the Premier League, and I'm saying when he gets the next chance to start or come off the bench, if he can just deliver that end product, I think we'll see a lot more of him. He does offer something different. He makes those runs in beyond the centre forward that I was crying out for at half time. So, we looked at that heat map or the pass map, didn't we?
Yeah.
He makes those darts down the middle through that central corridor, and it's something that very few of our other players do. So yeah, I do like Joe Willock. He gives us something different, and he can play. I think he's best in a 4-2-3-1 or in a 4-3-3, where he's given license to make those forward runs. So look, watch this space. I think he'll get game time this season.
He's very much doing that thing, isn't he? Where you say, players need to take their opportunities when there's cup competitions to play themselves into the players' into the manager's mind, and he's very much doing that at the moment, isn't he?
Well, definitely. And look, let's fast forward to the weekend. Let's hope it doesn't work out like this. But let's say it's one apiece, 65 minutes on the clock. We don't look like breaking down a stubborn Aston Villa. What are you going to do? I think Joe Willock is someone that is great to have up your sleeve, because you could go, right, let's switch to 4-2-3-1 and get Joe Willock making runs in beyond Alexander Lacazette and just getting into the box to cause havoc. And what happens is, we saw it with Aaron Ramsey when he was a player here. You make those runs into the box, things happen. Either you score or it just takes a defender away, and the bounce of the ball just tends to fall your way. So yeah, for me, he's a gem for Arteta, and I would be looking to use him in Premier League games a bit more often than we've seen him.
All right, let's look at the third and final thing that we've learned from tonight's performance then, and it is switching to a back four and better pressing tip the balance our way. We've spoke so much about formations on this show, it feels like, but Doc Martin here saying Willock's drive and movement was superb. Another compliment for Willock, but then goes on to say, think the back four will be the norm going forward. We've got another one here actually from Fraser Caldwell, who says, think you have to take the moments of brilliance from Pepe and accept the drifting. Willock's movement off the ball is the defence unlocking key Arsenal needs. Poor Eddie just couldn't get a break. Yeah, he really couldn't. Unlucky not to get that first goal as well. But just on the back four, Adrian, we've spoken on this show numerous occasions about it, and you, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you think that Mikel Arteta would like to play a back four. He's just working out the best way to do it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think he wants to get an extra attacking player onto the field. That Gabriel and Holding probably give him that confidence at the moment. They were terrific the other day, although it was more of a back three at Old Trafford. I think we could see a similar lineup, but with the four at the back and Saka maybe pushed into more of a midfield position at the weekend. We'll have to see on that. But yeah, look, I think a back four is the way forward. It was unnecessary tonight to have Xhaka as the left side centre back. When he squeezed into midfield second half, the whole team came with him, and we pushed up 10, 20 yards, pressed, and even though they had their moments, Molde, on the break they were quick, weren't they? They had some really fast players, but ultimately we pinned them in and just suffocated them second half, in a similar way to the way we strangled Manchester United at the weekend. I love it when Arsenal box the opposition team into their own half, because that's when things begin to happen for us. So, because we're not that creative as a side, but if you can pinch the ball back in their half and catch them very, very quickly, that's when you can punish opposition teams, and that's probably our best avenue of success at the moment.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much for your company this evening. You'll be back alongside me on Sunday for that Aston Villa game. Just to remind you, if you're watching this and you're interested, we do a Twitch stream. We'll be doing a Twitch stream, I should say, tomorrow night. We did one last week where we crowned the greatest Arsenal goal against Manchester United as Thierry Henry's flick and spin. Well, Thierry Henry is the topic of tomorrow's Twitch stream. We're going to do a World Cup of Thierry Henry's goals. So we'll see which one comes out on top there. You can join us at Arsenal Official on Twitch. Also, do not forget the In Lockdown podcast is available right now. Loads of good interviews on that. Alexander Kleb, Perma Asaka, Nicholas Bentner. And I think this week coming out part 1 of Jens Lehmann. So that will be very, very entertaining indeed. I'm sure he's got lots of different stories that will keep you entertained whilst in lockdown. Thank you for watching. We will be back on Sunday for the Aston Villa game at the Emirates Stadium. It's a 7:15 kickoff, so on a little bit later than usual. Join us on arsenal.com around 7:15, and we'll see you then. Take care.
Plane spotters would come from miles around just to see one land. For millions of economy passengers, they wouldn't fly any other aircraft as they just knew the difference. For those that flew upstairs, one of the biggest thrills was just walking up the stairs. It's the closest a plane has ever come to a luxury cruise liner. Complete privacy, if that's what you wanted. Or the company of friendly strangers to help the journey seem so much shorter. And when it's time for a nice long sleep, or to wake you up if you prefer, an amazing hot shower was waiting. Yes, a shower on a plane. So as routes slowly open up, it's back to the skies. A little different perhaps for now, but underneath it all, the smile is the same as it was before. So when you're ready to reconnect with our big beautiful world, remember, this isn't just flying. This is the Emirates A380. Emirates. Fly better.
I'd like to taste a real Italian coffee, please.
She said real Italian coffee?
In a capsule?
An eco capsule.
What? Compostable! In harmony with nature.
You mean a compostable capsule?
With Italian taste.
Buonissimo.
Yes, Lavazza. Your home coffee experience goes compostable with the new Lavazza Eco Cabs. Lavazza, more than Italian.
Well done.
Yeah.